Pebble Beach, Goodwood, Via d'Este, all epic car events around the world. But what if I told you the most important gathering happens in a quiet Detroit suburb? The price of admission here isn't money. The rule is simple. You have to bring a car with a story. So there are no tickets, no trophies, which means no judges, because the owners of these cars are the very people who imagine, design, engineer, and build the vehicles you and I drive every day. They are the secret architects of the automotive industry. And for 10 years, the emperor of Cadillac styling, legendary designer Bob Boniface, has invited them to his home for a conversation. So let's rewind before the whole party started and talk to the man running the joint here. Bob, 10 years of cars in my yard.
10 years.
It feels like yesterday, you and I were in New York talking about this in 2014, and I didn't believe you that you had a 2-acre backyard.
Right.
And here we are 10 years later. How many cars were there last year?
We had about 160 cars last year.
And what was that in terms of like people?
Close to 400 people. It's really difficult to count. And generally, we could look at the RSVPs, and I think it said 399. But you know how it goes. People say, oh, my mother-in-law's in town. I have a car buddy and 2 friends. It may have been more than that. I don't count heads.
So what's the RSVPs looking like this year?
I think it said, 365 or 370, but, it could be more.
Okay. Any particular cars you're excited about?
Yeah, there's a Ferrari 250 Lusso coming.
Nice.
There's a gentleman who should be arriving any moment now with a 36 Bentley that was hot rodded in period in the late 40s, shortened chassis and so forth, and is all patinaed. It's been in the family since the 60s. I can't wait to see that car.
So that, if my memory serves me correctly, that's like the first old-timey Bentley we're going to get here.
Yeah. Every year, you've been to almost every one. There's always I've never seen that before. And that's sort of the vibe of this show. I don't want just high-end cars, 911 GT3 RSs and things like that. I want things you don't see. Last year a guy came with a 72 Ford Maverick, all original patinaed paint, and I park it right next to a Huracan because I like that juxtaposition. You never see a car like that.
Yeah.
Or last year the gentleman who brought the Pontiac 6000 STE.
My favorite car of the show.
No one wanted to look at his Rolls-Royce because he had the Rolls-Royce too. Everyone wanted to look at the Pontiac.
And he told everybody that would listen that car, just the whole value of that car was less than the road tax of the Rolls-Royce every year.
Incredible. But that's the vibe of the show. The people that I invite to this show are interesting people, and they all have an interesting perspective about cars. And so they flock to the things you don't see.
Put another way, the ticket to the show is not the car. You got to be an interesting person.
Yeah. I pick the people, not the car. The cars, I want something interesting, but it's the people because, as you know, we have the bartender and they're eating and having a couple of cocktails, and these conversations just develop organically, and it's fun.
So this is the first time I'm getting here early enough to see this naked. And I see you obviously set up the lines here with your own cars. Give us an understanding. How long does this party take to actually put together? Not just today, not just this day.
Yeah, well, don't forget, a lot of this is sort of up and running because we've done it before. But it's a good 3-4 weeks of work getting the food set up, getting it organized, getting the restroom trailer, getting the furniture, getting the bartender and the drinks and so forth. It takes a while prepping the yard, making sure all of my cars are running, cleaning the garage, that sort of thing. So it takes a few weeks.
Before I let you get back to it, a huge thank you to your neighbor.
Yeah.
Who loans you his 2 acres.
Oh, yeah.
And your incredibly patient wife.
She's incredibly patient. Every year, she says, we're never doing that again. And every April and May, well, okay, we'll do it one more time.
Bob, thanks for having me as always.
It's always great to see you.
And just like that, the conversation begins. Before you can even blink, Bob's quiet 2-acre yard transforms into a living, breathing museum of automotive history. But let's remember, Bob made it perfectly clear. He invites the person, not the car. And that's the magic of this place. It's a collection of the most interesting minds in the business, all bringing their 4-wheeled alter egos to the party. So my mission today is simple. Find those people and uncover the stories they brought with them. So Adam, I'm walking around your car and I'm hearing the words, "This is the best car here."
Of course.
You know I love
right,
you.
MotoMan?
This is Adam Wadecki, the famous Adam Wadecki. Tell them your YouTube channel.
Rare classic cars in automotive history.
I will say this, as someone who is a car YouTuber, he has the coolest YouTube channel. Why? Because he gives love to the unloved. But he does more than that. He owns them. He has a garage full of these orphans, and he only gets the pretty ones. Like, this is not restored, is it?
No.
So you buy them in this condition. What exactly is this car?
This is a 68 Mercury Park Lane Brougham that's factory equipped with the 428 engine, which is the same as the 7-liter Galaxy of the era. So kind of a gentleman's hot rod car, if you will.
So this was like the M5 of the day?
Yeah, I guess
or
you could
bigger,
say-
like the 760.
Yeah, probably the 7 Series. This would have been the top of the line full-size car. So
So
the
in
Mercury
today's
had-
dollars, what would this have cost?
About 45,000, I would say.
Oh, so way cheaper than a 7 Series.
Yes.
And and everyone kind of knows Melee's era cars, they're not worth a hell of a lot of money, even in this condition. What's something like this worth?
Probably 20.
Oh, okay, so they're definitely perking up even as a Mercury.
Yeah, it is.
Now, I thought you were a GM guy.
I am a GM guy. Well, I'm brand agnostic. So anything GM, Ford, Chrysler, AMC, so long as it's cool, I like it.
Now, there's something fascinating about this car. It's not so much the exterior design. I couldn't help but notice, it's not really a period color combination.
No, it's not.
This is something that would stand up today.
That's right.
And B, the interior. Point out, share some of the details with the audience.
Yeah, so this is the Brougham interior, which was optional. This is one of about 30 that were made in this color combination with the 428 engine. But when you got the Brougham, you got the beautiful fake wood grain on the wheel, the dash, the horn pad, and then you got this kind of flabby six-pack, if you will, upholstery interior.
I noticed, it's fascinating. Tell me again the year of the car?
68.
68, it's got the split bench and the 6-way power seat. Was that unusual back in the day?
Everything was optional, so this car's fully loaded. Cruise, tilt wheel, power seat, power windows, power steering and brakes were even optional, air conditioning, 8-track, power antenna.
So you effectively doubled the price of the car just in the option.
Oh yes, definitely. And the great thing about any Ford of this era, this special, you just kind of let go of the door and it closes with a nice solid thunk.
See, I'm surprised to hear that. I don't associate quality with Ford, especially back in these days.
Ford actually during this era, I would say through the mid-70s, was quite a high-quality product compared to the domestic 3. All the body gaps and fit and finish are pretty gosh darn good, especially
And that
for
is the
era.
original paint?
This has been repainted.
Yeah, because it's beautiful.
The top is original. Yep.
Wow. That is, and even the seam here is something that's stunning.
Yeah.
Ben should get that seam because I wouldn't expect that workmanship in a car from the late 60s, early 70s.
No, and it's also disguising the faux carriage bow back here, as well, which was a very typical early 60s GM styling fad. But yeah, the workmanship on this car is actually quite good.
So when it comes to anything in like the mid 60s to the late 70s in terms of looking for expertise, this is your encyclopedia. Reach out to him on his channel and he will answer you. Sir, thank you for the time.
Well,
This is
thank you,
great.
man. It's always great seeing you.
Always great.
Yeah, thanks again.
So last year, the coolest car ever on record at Cars in My Yard was here. No, not a Rolls-Royce drop head coupe.
Hey, that's a cool car.
That was not a cool car. What was cooler was sitting right next to it.
My Pontiac 6000 STE, all-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive, which you said you were going to give to me so I can give to my girlfriend.
Be careful what you wish for.
I will gladly take it. I will not take a free Rolls-Royce, because that is not free. However, this year you're shaking things up.
Yeah.
What did we bring this year?
My 1984 Aston Martin Lagonda.
You, sir, have exquisite taste, but you like pain in your life. So explain to me, or explain to the audience, some of the original pain points.
Okay.
And then you should open the car as we do.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
As usual, Aston Martin was going bankrupt in 1975. So an American guy named Peter Sprague bought the company, and they created this car to show the world that they were going to be in business for the future, and this was going to be the car of the future. So this particular model is an 84, but they showed it to the public in 76. And this was the first car in the world that had capacitive touch switches inside. The first car in the world to have digital instrumentation and some electronic engine management. So it's it's a very interesting car. They made 645
In total.
in total over 14 years. It went out of production in 1990, and this particular car is number 372. Here's a funny story. I found out that my car is the first Aston Martin to have a pressurized fuel system. It's not like Lagondas were the first one. No, chassis number 13372 was the first one. What could possibly go wrong?
As I said, pain in your life. Yeah. So now this car, it's a later car. Does it still have the capacitive touch and a crazy?
And it all works great.
Because they changed it at the end.
Yeah. So the
Oh my God!
the next generation
Can I
of
fit it in?
vehicles, of course, the next generation of vehicles has
I'm going to
the
enjoy
little
this a lot.
TVs. This car has the LEDs. They all work great. Everything on this car works, and I drive it all the time.
Okay, this is not exactly meant for someone my size, and you are bigger than me. So would be challenging as a comfortable grand tour across.
It's very
Europe.
comfortable for two people.
I love the details here. Like this, granted, screams like Tron kind of deal.
Of course. This was the future. It was the 70s.
The beauty of it, the only thing that dates this interior is the aftermarket radio. That's it.
Yeah.
But everything else, Aston Martin.
It was very futuristic, and nobody had ever seen anything like this when it came out.
Love the steering wheel.
It's got the single spoke steering wheel. I should have thought about when I parked it, straightening it out, but it's a very cool design.
You know
element.
who's doing something similar to this, where it bows in and meets at the hub, is now the Bugatti Tourbillon. It's stunning.
Yeah.
So
What's old
this
is
is
new
also
again.
what's interesting about this car, your particular car. I love the color combo. Like not a common color.
This is the only Lagonda in lapis blue with a red interior with blue piping.
And can we open up the hood? Is that possible?
Yeah, we could do that.
And do you use it? Do you drive?
Yeah, I drive it all the time. It's a great car for the highway. I mean, it gets breathtakingly bad gas mileage. I mean, this car gets 7 miles to the gallon on the freeway. It actually gets better mileage around town. It gets like 9 around town.
Why is that? Because you're going slower?
That's the way it's geared.
It's a 3-speed, isn't it?
It's a 3-speed Chrysler TorqueFlite automatic.
Oh, there's the problem right there.
It's the Aston Martin 5.2 liter V8. But I can show you a couple things about the car that are really interesting.
That would be great.
To somebody who's not familiar with these cars. Well, the first thing is they were all handmade. This fender, if you look, see it has a groove here and it has a flange on this side. So you couldn't stamp that. That would be die locked. See, you're here with a bunch of car designers. So you couldn't actually take this out of a tool. Stamping is like a Dixie cup, right? They have to sit on, you're pulling out of a tool. So because this is, has a flange and a groove here, this could only be handmade. And you'll notice as you come up the car, it's leaded in here at the A-pillar. So it's unbroken sheet metal from the tip of the car all the way up the roof, all the way down to the back. And you'll see when you look at the back of the car, see how tight this is? You can't really stamp something like that. That's multiple pieces that have been, panel beat, put together. This draw here, you can't really stamp something like that where the license plate is. These are the sort of hallmarks of a handmade car.
What's stunning about this design, I've always loved these since back in the day. Like you look at this, yeah, I think you would definitely say it's a post-war car.
Oh yeah.
But one could say it's the late 60s, one could say it's a late 80s car.
When I came in here today, Bob, the host, he said, oh my God, because, we also brought the 1990 Chrysler New Yorker. And the first thing he said is, oh my God, the Lagonda and the New Yorker. We were trying to make the New Yorker look like the Lagonda in the studio.
And Bob is one of them now.
Yeah, he would know,
A
right?
little bit aside here, I won't tell you who he works for, but this is a bona fide car designer working on cars, working with a very good friend of mine.
Yeah, he's
His
my
Is
boss.
a very good friend of mine, who's been a guest on the show many times. So you kind of know about this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you buy the car in a designer because you wanted an Aston
I
Martin?
wanted this car ever since I saw it in a car magazine when I was like 10 years old.
Richard, an absolute pleasure.
Oh, it's a real
Always-
pleasure.
always
I
look forward to
enjoy,
what you're
I
bringing.
enjoy your channel. I enjoy your coverage. And I
you, sir.
enjoy the comments.
I want you to bring something different next year. We'll talk more about it.
Oh, I'll bring something different every single year for the next 20 years.
Come visit the hangar with your boss.
Okay.
Your boss has been there a couple of times.
All
So
right.
you come, and we'll see you in California.
Excellent. Take care.
Now, while Cars in My Yard is absolutely a summit of the unique key people shaping the automotive world, we can't forget that at the end of the day, it's also one hell of a car show. So in between chatting with these folks, I ventured off on my own to find a couple of machines that just spoke to me at this here show. Okay, so it's time to dive off into my absolute favorite part of Cars in My Yard, and that is the show field. And this is unlike any other show field of any other car show, fancy or a local car show, in that you get the fancy stuff, you get some new stuff, but you get survivors like this. Stuff you don't see really out there in this condition. This is a mid-80s IROC-Z. These things were completely special if you were like cruising the Ave in northern New Jersey or the South Shore of Long Island to the Sunrise Mall. You were something back then. This car is something today because look at it. I haven't spoken to the owner, but there's patina to it. You can see this is the original paint, and it's an unusual car choice for back in the day because back then it was black, red, white, and yellow were the colors. Burgundy, no one really picked. Then the interior of this, so much of the details in these things, they're so brittle, they disintegrate to dust, this kind of stuff here and this kind of stuff here. I'm guessing someone replaced these pieces, probably reupholstered it, but this car, like, moderately equipped. It has a radio, but notice, no cassette player, yet it has the expensive 6-way seat option, which was electric. Really a fantastic thing to see here. So while everybody loads up in the backyard, let's do something we've never done before in this entire party. Check what's parked in the front yard. Now, we've got the random display of nondescript crossovers over here. We've got a Toyota Tundra. I guess that's sort of cool. It's a TRD off-road. Nothing wrong with that. But there is something in the front that is fascinating. And that is an E63S, 2015. Spoke to the owner. This one has 120,000 miles. He bought it out of Canada. But what's fascinating about it is the color combination. So normally these things are in like the German rainbow, silver, black, or white. This one is a deep blue metallic. Obviously, this is my kind of thing. And then they did a cognac interior. Now let's not drive past this important moment. The reason why cars like these are exciting to freaks like you and I is because they fly underneath the radar. They look like a very practical car that can be used as a family vehicle, which they can, but they have like 500, 600, and 650 horsepower. But like the wagon that they are, they fly underneath the radar sitting in the front yard. But of course, the one unbreakable rule at this event is that you just can't turn up and gawk at other people's rides. As Bob says, everyone has to bring something interesting to the party, and that includes yours truly. So before I dive back into the show field, let me show you what I brought to the table this year. Would you believe me if I told you it was a sort of orange, yellow Mach-E? Yeah, I didn't think you'd buy it. Instead, I brought something much more cheap and cheerful, one of the most balanced cars on the planet, the 2025 Volkswagen Golf R. Think of this as a GTI with all-wheel drive and more power. Now, what do I mean by more power? This is the EA888. It's a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, and this one has 328 horsepower. So if you are a nerd with these things, that's 13 more horsepower than last year. So they've made some updates, 295 pounds of torque. It only comes as a DSG, sadly, same with the GTI. This one has bigger wheels than the GTI. Comes fitted with 19s as standard. It's 18s as standard on the GTI. Can we talk about the not so good news here? Let's go to the inside here. I remember the basic, the $32,000 GTI. It had the Burberry interior, which is the tartan seats. You know I love tartan because I have it in my own car. Here, you can get the tartan, but it's optional. And if you get the tartan and you pay the extra money for it, you lose the power seats, you lose the vented seats, and frankly, that's not tartan, it's not attractive. And then while we're there, the infotainment system. It is the same horrible infotainment system that we saw first in the ID4. This is not a situation where I can give criticism or tell them to start over, rather just throw it out. and bring us something different, because that's the only thing standing in the way of this being a perfect car. Well, that and the price used to be like 40 grand, now it's 47 base. 52 now, still one of the most magical cars on the planet. I would say get the most basic one. Then this. This is like design perfection for cheap and cheerful. This is design perfection for when money is no object, because this is not a restored Wagoneer from back in the day. What this is a Jeep Gladiator that has an old-timey Wagoneer body on it. And if you spend some time looking at it, like the charge port for the plug-in hybrid, this is a Mark Allen special. Basically what this is a Moab, Utah concept car made by Jeep. You can see, here's the proof that it's a Gladiator. That is a, box standard Jeep Wrangler interior, but it's got like the old-timey seats with the old-timey patterns, like the Indian Southwest patterns. Even the ceiling has this unique, like spray-painted graffiti type thing. Then they put a full-size spare in the back, and this like pale canary yellow, and then this beautiful detail of this like vent that they have back here instead of the metal panel. This was why Mark Allen was so good at this. The guy was great at designing Jeeps, but the guy was even better at just having fun with design when the budget really wasn't the thing. That Jeep is the perfect example of what happens when a designer gets to play without limits. And it really is the spirit of the whole event. It proves that beyond the well-known designers and big-name influencers, this yard is filled with deeply personal projects and incredible hidden histories. It got me to thinking, I needed to go find more of those stories. So as I admitted many times over the years, I am no expert on Mitsubishis, but I found the expert, the owner of the car.
Yeah,
Sir, thank you for bringing this. It's a first-timer here at the show.
it is, yes.
Tell me how'd you get it?
I found this from an ad that was overseas in New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand. And at the time, I wasn't really necessarily shopping for a Pajero EVO. And it was right at the time that they were starting to come into the US. So I wanted to be the first. And I had a conversation with the seller. And I had a great deal on it. Plus, we did a walk around, which obviously it's difficult being here and they're there. We did a Zoom call. He started it up a couple times, make sure it's not smoking or leaking, those kind of things. Before you know it, I handed over some money, wire transfers, and I became the owner about 3.5 years ago.
That is a lot of trust.
Yeah, it is.
Not just buying a car overseas, but buying something that has so many technological advances to it that could be a nightmare for you.
So that's the story of this. It was a nightmare because about a year later, I received the car, and even though it was...
Wait a minute, you paid for the car and it took a year to get to you?
Yeah, there's a whole long story about this. The shippers actually held on to it for about 8 months, and then the time it took from New Zealand to get to the US, it was about a year before I got it. And when I received it, I took it out for a test drive, and it was stalling out on me. This is an automatic, so it shouldn't be stalling out. White smoke, the whole thing. So I knew right away I've got internal issues with the engine. And it turns out the heads were damaged. Then it became a whole project of investigating on where do I get parts for this car. And what's special about this vehicle and not fun is that it's a homologation from the heads up are unique only to this vehicle. Usually you can cross-reference a couple parts. With this one, it's a lot of stuff was just for this car. So finding parts is difficult. I had to buy a rebuild kit from Switzerland. Someone had that. A lot of people buy parts around the world.
I have to interject.
Yeah.
By about now, this is like sport quattro money you're into this car for.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I've done a full rebuild on this engine. So I've only had it driving in Michigan for about maybe a month, if that.
I noticed the temporary plate in the back.
Yeah.
Give us like the headline for people who don't understand these. What's like 3 technological advances, like the headlines, 3 technological advances that made these so special back in the day?
So typical Pajeros had a solid rear axle, and these came equipped with front and rear independent suspension.
So this was, because it was homologation for Paris-Dakar Rally, it was all about endurance. It has 285 horsepower, or so they say. Gentleman's agreement.
It's a lot back in the day for something you could have bought.
Yes. And it's naturally aspirated, not turbo, V6. But it was all the suspension. And I actually don't know all the technicalities of what's what. But this thing honestly drives, in my opinion, and an owner of a Bronco will tell you this drives way smoother, way better than some modern cars or off-road vehicles.
So it is true, Mitsubishi was way ahead of their time in the rally world.
Yep.
So you, as a designer of General Motors, would you say, like now looking back on it, would you do this again?
Well, so I didn't know what I was getting into, and it's like a blessing and a curse at the same time. I'm honored to have worked on something like this, but it's not something by choice. I'd rather find something, kind of turnkey and go. Yeah. But it's been fun understanding what goes into this car, and it's not for the faint of heart.
Can I say, for many Mitsubishi aficionado out there, a very good friend of mine, Nathan, is one of them, you are doing God's work.
Oh, thank you.
And now for something completely different, something totally new to Bob's Cars in My Yard, a Bentley. What Bentley is it, Mark?
This is a 1924 4.5 liter Bentley. In the late 40s, these were being scrapped. Literally, what you paid for these cars in the 40s is what the scrap dealer could get for it. So it was like a pence a pound kind of thing. My uncle bought this in 1965. It was hot rodded. I say hot rodded in 1948 and 49. The fellow who had it then, the guy in England, wanted to look like the cars that were winning in Le Mans in the 20s. So he shortened the chassis from 10 feet 10 inches to 9 feet 9.5 inches.
Mark, you're the man.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. We got to get this guy before he leaves. Got to ask him to stop. Sir.
Hey, how are you?
We were just coming over to your car.
Oh.
What's your name?
It's Mike Youssef.
Mike,
Hey.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you.
So I am a fellow GT3 touring owner.
Excellent.
But I'm a little jealous.
You are?
Yeah, because he's got the 25.
Absolutely. Back seats.
Back, okay, so I disagree with you. I wouldn't have done the back seat.
No?
But the color.
I have kids, so it actually works out pretty well.
Is stunning.
The oak green Neo is beautiful.
The oak, that's a stunner. Yeah. Now, didn't they just move it from PTS down into a special color?
It's a whole different color. So oak green is a PTS color. It's a little bit hard to describe, but it's a little less green, if that makes sense. And then oak green Neo just came out this year and is a standard palette color, but they modified it just a little bit.
It's a stunner. So we're not paying $13,000 for the paint.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean, there's a price increase on the 992.2.
So you know what they did? They did another price increase.
They did.
It went up another $9,800.
So this luckily came in just before the price increase.
So yours wasn't $234 base price.
It was not. It was
you are
not.
lucky. So is this your first GT3?
No, I have a 991.2.
You still have it?
I still have it. And I think that is peak 911, the 991.2. But I still love the touring.
Still love the touring. Okay. Yeah. So what other options you do on this?
So what did I do? I didn't do lightweight package.
Carbon fiber trim I'm seeing on the dash.
This is the exclusive manufacturer interior.
I did the same on mine.
And then
stunning color combo.
Yeah, just carbon fiber trim, carbon fiber dorsals, and then really that's about it.
I'm disappointed in you. What about the seat belts, man? You need to do green or something.
Oh, they don't have them. It's black, red, yellow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got to speak to the folks.
Yeah, right. You got to call them.
Okay, so what's your daily driver?
Daily driver is a 2025 Cayenne GTS.
Well, so you are Porsche through and through.
I'm a Porsche guy. Yeah.
Sir, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad we caught you before you left.
Oh, appreciate it.
After hearing all these incredible detailed stories from a Mitsubishi that literally crossed the globe to a Bentley that's been in one family for generations, it all boils down to one thing. What makes a car truly special? It's a simple question with a million different answers. So I decided to ask a bunch of people to try and capture that magic in just one word.
Vision. I would say authentic.
Black 428 hyphenated.
Personality. Heirloom.
Wild. The one word I would give to this car is vibes. It's got all of them.
To me, this was more the story of getting this car to Michigan. I'm the first with this vehicle in Michigan. Not a lot of people know what this car is, so that's not a one-word answer, but this car is special because it's one of a kind.
Vision, heirloom, vibes, personality. It's amazing how a single word can tell an entire story. And that's the real takeaway from this unique event that was the brainchild of Ray Boniface. It's not about the metal, it's about what the metal means to people. It's a shared language, a common ground that brings everyone together, even when the heavens decide to open up and give us a bit of an unscheduled intermission. And so for what I believe is only the second time in Cars in My Yard history, we had a bit of a rain delay, in this case one hell of a rain delay as you can see, but that gave me an opportunity to walk around and see some of the show field, and I completely missed this, the newest car here at the event. Unless you've been living under a rock, the Corvette ZR1. Now, I'm not gonna go through all the details of the car because you probably have watched every video of this car. This one is obviously the full murdered out version. It's got the wing, the wheels, the whole deal. But there's a couple of things that stand out here. Number one, all the cars you saw from the launch, I believe were yellow or something like that. Here, look at it stand out in this very mature shade of blue and a stunning contrast of a tan interior. Another reason why this car stands out, it's a convertible. So we're talking 1,000 horsepower convertible, like crazy. And then there are two other things that really aren't noticeable here just by looking at it. Number one, whose car is this? Well, you would think if it says CTF, that's Captured Test Fleet Vehicle, so obviously these things aren't in the market yet. This car is not owned by, but being tested by Tony Roma, the chief engineer of the Cadillac Celestiq, as well as these, the Corvettes. But Tony Roma's not here. Instead, Brian Nesbitt, the newly minted chief of design for General Motors. Now, you probably remember that name if you've been watching the show for a while. Brian Nesbitt, if you go back to like the original design episodes like 15 years ago, Brian Nesbitt came on the scene because he designed a car no one had seen before, the PT Cruiser. And then GM hired him to say, can you duplicate that? The HHR. And just like snap of his fingers, and only 15 years later, he now runs all of design for one of the largest car companies in the world. So huge congratulations to him. And thank you for bringing this. And number two, many thanks to Bob and Amy Boniface for sharing this event with us for all these years. And there's one more person we have to thank, and that is Bob's father, Ray. He was the guy that really imagined this thing, put it together first in Ohio, and now it's turned into this thing that's grown into something that ironically displaced the largest classic car show in Michigan when it started 10 years ago. Thank you for the inspiration. I'd like to do more of these around the country. Maybe you should come up with this idea for your car friends. So now I turn this episode around to you. What was your favorite car and why? Let us know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoManTV all one word, MotoManTV all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, thank you for joining me on, once again, an experience that frankly is only come because you and I have been doing this together for 16 years. Until I see you in the next episode, bis später.